May 2021, question number 5. A. So you're told so May 2021, question number 5A. So you're told the total cost and the demand function of a firm operating under monopolistic competition are represented as follows. So you're told the total cost is given a function of 850 minus 8Q plus 10Q squared, and then P is given by 200. And then you're told the first aspect, so question 5A. So one, what is the fixed cost of this item? So what is the fixed cost in this equation that you're saying? The fixed cost is said to be 850. And why is that the fixed cost? What is the reason why the fixed cost is 850? It is not affected by the level of what? Quantity. So we say that the fixed cost is that cost which is not affected by the level of quantity that we are producing. Things such as rent, for example. The other one is on the variable cost function. So what is the variable cost function in that case? The variable cost function is given by minus 8Q plus 10Q squared. And then we go ahead and answer the third part of that question. What is the average cost function? Average cost function. We say the variable cost is the cost that varies with the quantity. That's why it has the Q element. So average cost function, on the other hand, what is the average cost function? Average cost function is given by total cost over quantity, correct? So in this case, this we'll have what? 850 over Q minus 8. So let me just have it here so that we don't lose anyone. So you divide everything by Q. So you'll have 850 over Q minus 8 plus 10Q. And what about the marginal cost in this case? What is the marginal cost? What is the marginal cost function? So the marginal cost is given by marginal cost, we give it by the change in total cost due to change in quantity. So it means that you differentiate this total cost. Now to go back from marginal cost to total cost, you will integrate. Now, so what is the differentiation of this? 850 minus 8Q plus 10Q squared minus 8 plus 20Q. That is the marginal cost function in that case. Now, and then you're told the marginal revenue function. So the marginal revenue function, marginal revenue. What is the marginal revenue in this case? So we discussed the concept of marginal being that additional either cost or revenue from making an extra unit, an additional unit. So the marginal revenue is given by the change in total revenue due to change in quantity, because by virtue of that additional aspect, that is why we have this equation. But do we have the total revenue in this case? We do not. But you know very well that the total revenue is given by price multiplied by quantity. And then our price in this case is how much? 200. So our total revenue will be 200 Q. So to differentiate this marginal revenue, we'll get what? 200. But I told you, do not forget to do this, because you may find now, instead of being given a constant here, let's say you're told the price is given by 20Q. So what will be 20Q in this case? 20Q, the total revenue will be 20Q squared. So if you differentiate this, it will be 40Q. You see, it's not the same. So do not assume that just because this price is given in this way, it will be the marginal revenue. Now, so that is the marginal revenue. So marginal revenue will be equal to that aspect. And that marginal revenue is the additional revenue from one extra unit that you have manufactured. And then the last point is what I want you to also pay keen attention to. So the level of output at which the firm breaks even. Now, the concept of breaking even simply means that, so let's say you are making an item by, so this is the cost. The cost of making an item is 100. At break-even point, we say that the cost should be equal to the amount of what? The revenue that you should get. Just beyond that is when you start making profit. That's why it's called break-even. Because this is at that point where your costs are equal to the revenue. Beyond this is when you start to make profits, or below this is you start to make losses. So in this case, knowing that, then you're going to look at the level at which, the level of output at which the firm breaks even will be given by, so in this case, so the level of output at which the firm breaks even will be given by, so you're saying that the total revenue should be equal to the total cost. At that point is where you'll have that break-even point. So what is our total revenue in this case? We already have our total revenue being equal to 200 Q should be equal to, total cost is this one here. So we have 850 minus 8Q plus 10Q squared. So you take the like terms. So taking the like terms, you'll have, so let's say you remain with 850 on this side. So you'll have 200Q, or let's say that you take, so 200Q minus or plus 8Q should be equal to, or minus 10Q squared should be equal to 850. So I want you to solve for Q in this case. Solve for Q in this case. So remember, this is this a linear equation or a quadratic one? This one is, it will require to use which formula? The quadratic formula, the quadratic formula. So what is Q in this case? So if you are rearranging this, you'll have, so in other words, if you want to remain with 0 on one side, or to have it in form of a function, so you'll have, so let's say you want to remain with 0 on this side, you'll have, what is your A in this case? So you know very well that Q is given by minus B plus or minus the square root of B squared minus 4AC over 2A. So the question now will be, what is your, so B squared minus 4AC over 2A. What is your A, what is your B, and what is your C? Once you know this, then it will be clear for you in terms of your solving of this equation. So this is the same as saying, when you rearrange this, So let's just say that you rearrange this, you'll have in a way that looks like that, the quadratic formula, the quadratic way. So you'll have 10q squared, let's say 10q squared, taking this to that side, 10q squared minus, this is 208q plus 850. What is the, in other words, what is q in this case? Plus 850 should be equal to 0. So now you know your A, you know your B, and you know your C. What is your A? Your A is 10. What is your B? Huh? Negative or 208. Negative 208. C. C is 850. So using your calculator, so this is 850. You'll have two Q's. So you'll have minus, so minus B, that will be 208 plus or minus the square root of, this is negative 208 squared minus 4 into, so 4 multiplied by 10 multiplied by 850 over 2 multiplied by 10. So plus or minus, you get Q1 to be, and you get Q2 to be. So this is the same as saying, just for simpler terms, this is 208 plus or minus the square root of 43, 264 minus 4 multiplied by 10 multiplied by 850, that is 34,000 over 20. 34,000 over 20. So if it is in that case, so you have 43,264 minus answer to be 9264, and then the square root of that is 96.25. So you have 208 plus or minus 96.25 over 20. So, and then that will be 296. So 208 plus 96.25, get 304.25 over 20. That is the first Q1, which is an amount of how much? Which is an amount of 15.21. And the other one is 208 minus 96.25, which is an amount of 111. So Q2 is given by 111.75 over 20, which is an amount of 5.5875 or 59 units. So even if you round off this one, so if you produce 15 units, or if you produce at also 6 units or 16 units, you're still going to break even at that point. Now, that was the basis of these questions. And I told you these formulas, you have to remember them. In terms of the concept of theory of a farm. So the level at which a farm is said to break even is when the total cost equals to total revenue. Keep that in mind. And then we look at another question also that was asked in this case. So today I want us to brush up on our computations so that we can also be able to try other aspects, because they usually carry a lot of marks. Like for example, that one had almost 10 marks in this area. So we can look at another area also on May 2019. May 2019, question number 2C. So we try May 2019, question number 2C. May 2019, question number 2C.